link and discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Webull preferred influencer, and that's why we're here today, because I have been with Webull for just about 2 years. And to be fully transparent, I'm not an employee with Webull. I'm just an ambassador for their brand, and the past couple years, been 5-figure income from them each year. I offer this to you because, holistically, they don't have to listen to anything I have to say. No company does. And just as a brief overview, although, as I said, I'm not an employee, I think you have to understand, and you've probably been in a position where if you go to work and you give your management feedback, they're perfectly able to sit there and say, this is our company, this is our brand, this is our name. We're not going to make any changes based on what you have to say about what we are doing, whether that be how we interact with a customer, how we market, a promotion, interface, anything. It's perfectly acceptable for a company to say things like, well, 0.2 is better than 1. We run the company so we know what's best. I have experience you don't have, so I have a better understanding of what's expected from the product. But if you overlook what your employee says and you then don't listen to your customer that has the same issues, therein lies the issue. And to put an analogy with EA, any creator in this space, although we're not technically employees of EA, if we say, hey, your game has an issue, XYZ needs to be fixed, okay, and we push that up the ladder and we show the issue that we have, and EA says, well, Clint was a former practice lineman, he thinks that's fine, and therefore it's staying in the game, that's fine. They're welcome to do that. However, if that issue gets down to the customer, which is you, and you say, hey, this issue in the game is broken. It makes it unplayable. I don't enjoy the game. My experience is ruined now because this isn't fixed. You then push that back to us, to which we say, hey, listen, we told them, sorry, I let them know this was an issue. I just let them know and see if they can fix it. They couldn't. You're going to have to find a workaround. That creates a bigger issue because now the customer doesn't have trust in the brand, the person that's promoting it, or feel like their voice is heard going back to the company. So I offer all of that to you because when Webull started to change their promotion at the end of last year, I made a video and I said, listen, if you guys are on the fence, you want to take advantage of this promotion now because I know it's changing. And I can't tell you what's changing, but I know that it is. And sure enough, on January 1, the promotion did change. And the reality was it went from deposit any amount to get the free fractional shares to a minimum deposit of $100. From there, obviously, Webull asked us for feedback about how this was received, and we gave them honest feedback. And it's not just me, it's many different creators that work with them, and Webull responded, and I can tell you in all sincerity, the way they always do. They went back to what was working, they listened to the feedback I had from you, and they said, fine, we're going back to the promotion the way it had been, which is deposit any amount of money to get the fractional shares, not the minimum of $100. That's why it's so important if you're on YouTube, if you're trying to work with a company, work with a brand, you want a brand that you can communicate with. I have people that I know at Steel Supplements at Webull that I can reach out to any time of the day, holiday, after hours, weekends, it doesn't matter. It's not just a company that I come on and say in an intro that I work with or that sponsors me. It's a company that I know personally will treat you as a customer the best way they can. And that's what's always mattered to me. Even going back to the podcast I did with Jimmy Smith, I was very, very thankful that with Jimmy, he was the same mindset. He put you over any amount of money. So when we had every ball shaver in the world coming to us, Jimmy was like, we're not selling these products because it's not something that we're going to sit here and talk about. It really isn't even in line with what our channel talks about or our podcast does. And I'm not saying that you can't sit there and just take easy sponsorship money. It's really easy to do. In fact, I would probably be better off if I took every deal that came along, but I don't. Because as I said, it's important for me to understand what I'm promoting to you. And anytime I put my name on something, you need to have trust that I deal with the company, I know the company, and I trust what they're doing as a brand aligns with what I would do as an individual. That's the relationship you need to have. And ultimately, when something isn't working the way you think it should, when something isn't promoting out the same way you think it will get the response that it should, it's important that you can have communication back to the brand and feel comfortable saying, hey, I don't think this promotion, I don't think this game, I don't think whatever it is working the way it could to be optimal. and maybe you should consider making changes and have them listen to you directly and then see if that's something they can do. Doesn't happen every time, doesn't actually meet the requirements you set when you go back to them every time, but the fact of the matter is, when companies listen to the people they involve themselves with and the customers that they have, you will always get a better experience in the end. And I wanted to do a video because not only have I seen firsthand the brands that I work with stop at no limit to try to make sure every customer they have gets satisfied and feels they've been treated fairly, but I've also seen tons of examples where companies have not done that and turned away from the customer, told the customer it's their fault, and made a mockery of someone trying to improve a product. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching this video. You know I will be back in the week with more commentary.